Three, two, hey everybody, welcome to Torch Lovers. I am your host, Colin Connors. With me as always, my wonderful co-host / Latina flavor, Alicia Garza.
Hey y'all.
Also joining us today, the very beautiful Stephen Lehman.
Thank you.
And the always insightful Prince Ty.
Good evening.
So we do have a fair amount to talk about with tonight's episode. I actually thought it was going to be completely lackluster up until the final 2 minutes, and there's going to be plenty of warning tonight. I assure you that. Yes.
The way that your fan is interacting with the light behind your head, it's like a strobe effect, and it's really unpleasant to look at.
Really unpleasant? Oh my goodness, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Alicia, start the conversation and get them talking about whether or not it was a good idea for Adam to be going, hey, Tails, I completely fucked you over. So you guys talk about that. I'm going to fix
my God.
Quick.
Okay, so let's get into hashtag ways to not bring up the fact that you suck and you ruin people's lives. So, Ty, you're sitting there, you got your bro, Tails. How do you approach the situation?
I maybe give him some space for a bit, I feel like that's probably what needed to be done. Like, we had a counterpoint a few episodes ago after, Mari got blindsided where, and it was weird because Adam was one of the people. Adam and Zeke did not want to be bothered by Hannah right away.
Yeah, they were like,
Hannah had to be told to go away. That would have been a thing to do as opposed to, just put a neon sign about the fact that, I just completely blindsided you. And not only did he blindside them, but he, as we found out later in the episode, completely went out of his way to be like, you guys are perfectly fine. Everything's going to be amazing until it wasn't. It was just, I love Adam, but it was stupid. It was awkward as fuck, and it just was not good. It was just really not the thing to do.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of he reminded me of a war correspondent. He was stating the obvious and stating what had happened, but was not giving any helpful, uplifting. But don't worry, because now we're there was nothing. He was just right. I have literally ruined your life.
Yeah.
Thank you, Captain Obvious. Are you fucking kidding me? I should be telling. I feel like Tails could be saying the same thing back at Adam, and it would have made total sense. But
sure,
it was so bizarre. I just kept I kept waiting for him to maybe soften the blow at any point, but he just kept getting deeper with it. He's like, I know, I lied to your face. I screwed you. Your game is now worse than it was before. How many times can we say, hey, Tails, you should hate me now?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
he was going to keep your body warm tonight.
Strategy.
Yeah,
maybe it's next level Survivor strategy that we just aren't even on the same level as because
to some degree I kind of get it in the sense that you want to smooth things over. I just think that
but that's not how you do it.
Right.
I think for him to smooth it over would
elevate all the things that happen and then leave them there just.
Yep.
Right. There's a difference between facing the music and doing a full recitation of all of the way. It's almost like he should have started sitting down and being like, Taylor, it's going to be colder tonight because Figgy is not going to be warming up your body. So you're going to be cold. You should maybe try to find a blanket or something or other. It was just so stupid the way he went and itemized it. The way to do that is to be like, how are you feeling? And let Taylor vent and then be like, I know. But, and then try to spin it. It was.
And I don't know if this got covered or not, but Steven, you can answer this. What do you make of the fact that Jessica and Ken saw him walk over to Tails and basically be like, hey, I'm going to try smoothing over? To me, that's horrible relationship building with them because he just sided with them and now he's like, hey, I need to go talk to you in private away from these other people.
Well, the way I saw it was more of Adam being like, yo, I was with him, I dicked him over, I'm going to go talk to him. I think if it was in a tribe, a bigger tribe than a tribe of 4, it'd be bad, but it's a tribe of 4. You have to expect that everyone is talking to everyone at that point.
Yeah, you take that into account.
But it's still pretty
bad,
it's something you would expect. I mean, from what I'm going to gather, Jessica and Ken were probably not too concerned when Adam went over to, comfort his bro about, voting out his girlfriend. Like I think you're reading too much into it, Colin.
I don't know, Ty. I think Ty agrees with me on this. That it's a little.
Absolutely. Because, I mean, here's the thing. It's one thing to be like, hey, guys, can I smooth this over for a bit? It's another thing entirely to go about it the way he did, like, in a degree that, like, clearly it got out. Because, let's put it this way. He did it in such a way that Ken and Jessica immediately started thinking about ways in which maybe they should go with Taylor instead, despite the fact that Taylor voted Ken out. They were like, this guy might be more honest than the other guy because of how awkward Adam was with everything. And that's Adam's fault. It was dumb. It was dumb. Everything was dumb. He should have just shut the fuck up for the night and dealt with it in the morning. That's what he should have done. He did.
I agree.
And yet,
Other people messed up worse, which we'll get to.
Yeah, we're going to get to all that. Go ahead, Steven, real quick, a last little note. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was say real quick, Colin, I don't know, this is just an aside reference for you. It vaguely reminded me of an Australian Survivor after Rowan, where Kat just went up and was like, yeah, like, I know that, like, he was your friend, but, like, he was kind of a terrible person, and I hated him on a personal level, so I just wanted to make sure I outlasted him. I felt like it was very reminiscent of that.
It was, and the thing is, we've been seeing good gameplay from Adam up until that point, so who knows, maybe that was a moment of weakness or stuff. So we're going to push that aside, and we're going to jump to Orange Tribe. We didn't get that much of them early on besides the whole Zeke and David caught in a bad bromance. Ty, why the hell did David tell me at the idol? I don't actually think that was a good idea. To me, it's putting the cart before the horse.
It was awkward, but that's what we've come to expect from David, lovable awkwardness. And that's what we got from him tonight. I don't think it was that harmful for him, given the fact that the Gen Xers are going to be down and they're going to need some millennials to side with them. And now Zeke has a reason to ultimately trust David. And I think that's, I mean, granted, we have the benefit of knowing what's going to happen next episode. They're going to merge, and knowing how badly other people continue to screw up. Basically, nobody played that well tonight, but somebody screwed up so badly that it's going to cover up David being a little bit overexertion with the idol, or Adam being whatever he was that I can't really say without just saying fuck over again. So, you know, it was not a great episode for anybody in terms of gamesmanship. But I don't think it's a bad thing overall, because Zeke should trust David more in the short term. So
you think that it's the cost benefit analysis was that was a somewhat positive for David? I
mean, in a vacuum, it was probably dumb, but overall, it's going to work out. I feel like that's what falling into this season.
All right, Steven and Alicia, did either of you two want to comment on the David idol maneuver?
Zeke, I mean, we'll have to see. It was risky, and so we're going to see if the gamble was worth it. In the short term, Zeke says that he's going to take care of David, but he does say for now, which is kind of interesting because it's kind of giving. There's a common theme this season, it seems like, where people have good sides and like bad sides to them, and you're seeing all of those sides.
Well,
it's happened with Jay. It's happened with Zeke. Sorry, go ahead.
And Alicia, I don't even think you were here last week, or maybe the week before. When we discussed that actually in great detail, how this is the most 3D season of Survivor, and every character is being painted with that big rush. Okay, so it's very fascinating to see that. So we are just going to stay with the Orange Tribe because we didn't actually get that much more from them tonight. We did see Michelle complaining about bad manners. Does that mean Michelle has a possibility of not working with the Gen Xers later on? She's going to run to Jay the moment she gets in the merge and then be completely fucked. Is that her story? Go ahead, Ty.
I thought she was dead this week. She gets to live a little bit further into the... Oh, if they had lost, she was dead. She was gone. She was gone, without question. If they had lost tonight, she was gone. I was, kind of surprised that she didn't go.
Yeah.
I kind of thought they were going to lose again. I was surprised that the Green Five lost. Yeah. But basically, she could weave. I don't know. I don't think we know much about her other than she got rid of Maury forever ago, and she doesn't like burping and fart noises. Which
what are you talking about?
Makes her probably
bringing the people together.
Like, back in the second
She's
episode.
like admired and like people like
And that's-
her, and she's
and
like
that's-
put in challenges.
and
Like
that
how
goes to
much
the-
they were going to get rid of her if they lost.
The-
with
Well,
her
that's the
question.
thing is, hold on, guys. That's
Not.
her-
They're letting her sneak on by.
all right. Alicia, you're pulling
Like
a
a
meat of
certain other
Hannah.
person.
I don't know.
The thing about it is, she was given a great second episode, but she hasn't really necessarily had any footing since then. I'm not ready to write her off completely yet, because I think Jay and there'll be other bigger targets at the merge.
Jay and Taylor are bigger targets than her.
Yeah, but
So she has that going.
if
for
she's
her.
not willing to adapt, like she even said, I'm not willing to change who I am to play Survivor, I think she could meet a
Right.
pretty early demise. Real quick, Steven.
I was going to say two things real quick. One, the most notable thing about Michelle is that she is my stepsister's favorite of the season. So that's probably the thing I remember most about her. Secondly,
Well, she's pretty.
well, I guess. So my stepsister, my little 11-year-old who loves the...
Oh, never
No,
mind.
not yet. Not
All right,
yet.
go ahead and make your
Second-
point.
sister.
Two-prong. And then I think Michelle's like edit about the burping and bad manners more than anything was just situational. It was fodder for the night since we weren't going to get much content from Orange anyway, since all the big stories were happening on Purple since they had the fall of Tribal, and Green since they were going to Tribal.
And that's the thing is, I've been all up Chris's butt about how good of a game he has potentially playing, but we didn't see anything amazing from him tonight. But I'm not ready to write him off just
Well,
yet either, because we'll see.
To real quick comment on Chris, he clearly must have skeezed David out in some capacity to where David was like, yeah, no, I'm not telling Chris about this. I'm going to tell
Well,
him.
and I mean, but that goes from before, though, I think, from way back early
Right,
on.
but I'm
with the-
saying that's you.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
like,
more-
Dave,
yeah.
I mean, but it was obvious even when David first made the thing with Chris, like, I'm only doing this to save my butt. He's not a true friend. All right. So we're actually done with our intro tonight. We can put a little cap on them. So we are going to actually, let's go ahead and jump back to Purple, and let's kind of flesh out what little there is left to have with that. And that is, do Ken and Jessica actually trust Tails more than Adam, or is that just make-believe? And does any of that actually matter because the merge is next week? Alicia, what are your thoughts?
I don't know that it's necessarily they trust him, but I think that they can trust what he's saying.
Because
Which
he's
is-
dumb?
Yeah, like I don't think they're gonna be like, oh,
Oh, Alicia, she's frozen. Is she frozen for you guys?
Yep, present.
All right, Alicia
She
wants
was.
she wants to build a snowman because she's frozen. So Ty.
it's in the merge. It might not.
Okay, Alicia, you froze for a fair amount. Real quick, what you just resaid. I said you wanted to build a snowman because you were frozen. I thought that was really funny. Ty and Steven did not laugh, but that's okay.
That's smart.
Yeah,
That's smart.
Okay.
Okay.
So I just said that I think that while Ken and Jessica aren't sitting there being like, yeah, like Tails, like he's so trustworthy, like we believe him, we trust him with our game. I think what they're thinking is, well, on the average day, we can probably trust what he's telling us over what Adam is telling us, or what most people are telling us, just given his.
But
Absolutely.
my opinion is that there's still no way in hell Taylor's not going to flip back to the millennials.
Oh yeah.
And so maybe that's more of the devil you know of
But
him.
that doesn't mean that. Well, yeah, but I mean,
I get what
we
you're
don't know
saying.
who the millennials are going to pair up with. I don't think it's
That's
going to
true.
be millennials versus Gen Xers the whole way through.
Well, it's not, but Ty, go ahead.
Well, basically, what I'm saying is this. Alicia is absolutely correct in that they were looking at Taylor because Taylor as an archetype is like a straight line. There is no deviation to him whatsoever. He is a dumb surfer dude. That is what he is. That's why he got into the situation he was in to begin with, which makes him less of a threat than Adam, who is capable of doing more than one thing, and therefore, by definition, is more threatening in a strategic sense than Taylor. I think if they had lost this week, they would have had a real debate on their hands. Contextually within the episode, them talking about all of that makes sense. There is no chance that they are super tight with Taylor. Taylor is going back with Jay at least for next week. What happens thereafter, we don't know, but they are much more likely to work with Adam next week than they are with Taylor next week, because they're going to need some millennials to flip, at least in the short term, I don't think that's misdirection for next week.
And I mean, I think that's a very good point that if Jay does get the boot next week, which I think people want to see that at least, Tails could wind up kind of wherever. But I guess the way
he could be Fabio.
Yeah, I mean,
let's not give him that much credit.
But I guess Ken and Jessica view Tails the
That's
devil.
not giving him credit.
I guess they view Tails as the devil. They know versus Adam, which could potentially be the devil. They don't know.
I was going to say.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about the big event tonight, this amazingly clusterfucky Green Tribe, and we are all scratching our heads as Survivor superfans because one scenario, we were all saying Brett's going to be voted out. We were all fucking saying that 3 weeks ago. We're like, if Green Tribe goes, Brett or Sunday is screwed. Nothing could possibly mess us up unless there was some crazy good gameplay or crazy bad gameplay, and we got some of that tonight. But real quick, I want to give the MVP award to Hannah because Hannah was able to figure out that Brett was a cop, and she called his ass out on that. So while Hannah may not be the most perceptive person, she is clearly getting a good edit because she was able to figure out that Brett was a cop, and she's probably going to win the game.
Colin,
She
what
was
the fuck are you
definitely-
talking about?
She definitely made the merge.
Yeah, Hannah made the merge. Unlike
She is dateable, unlike
Well, here's the
Colin.
thing. Hannah was recruited by a certain Max Dawson, so she outranked him, which I'm really ecstatic about.
Real quick, who had Michaela as their winner pick? Someone did.
Oh God,
I don't
was
know.
it me?
It might have been you. Anyways,
Oh no!
my winner pick.
How the fuck do you not know who your own winner pick is?
I don't
Mine is
know.
Michelle,
No, I have Chris.
and
No, I
I'm
have Chris. I
standing
have
for
Chris.
her.
You have Chris? All right. Someone look up who the winner pick is, Michaela. But anyways, Hannah outlasted it. And listeners, I only talk so much about Hannah because she's my winner pick, and I kind of have a crush on her.
And also your future ex-wife.
Future ex-wife. No, my future ex-wife's going to be way hotter.
Oh,
That was
wow.
horrible.
Wow.
That was just a joke. I don't actually mean that. It would probably be someone less attractive than Hannah. Anyways.
That is not making it any better.
It's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
So
None
I'm
of this
gonna
is good.
Colin, we need to put
I'm
another
gonna,
one
I'm
here.
gonna dig myself out of this hole by passing this over to Alicia. Alicia, what the fuck happened on Green Tribe? And is there any logic in Jay's decision?
So I'm sitting here thinking about it. The only thing I could originally think of was, when there was the whole, like, four musketeers of, like, Tails, Figgy, Michelle, and Jay, Michaela was definitely, gunning for Figgy, who was one of his allies. And so perhaps there was a little, bias against her there. But like he said, when he was sitting there with Will talking in the trees, and they were like, and he was like, I mean, Michaela literally only has us in this game. We are her only alliance. In what world do you then turn around and, like, get rid of her? At that point, you're playing everyone else's game better than they're playing their own games by getting rid of someone that you have that they don't have.
Yeah.
It defies all logic, and it's a totally stupid, move. I don't even think you can call it a move. It's a totally stupid mistake. And I don't say that, right now from a place of, oh my gosh, I love Michaela, which I do. I just come from it, from a place where I'm just like, there was no logic. There was no, sound reasoning that could ever make that make sense.
And I guess, I want you to address this as well. It's not like Sunday and Brett are immediately going to trust them now either. It's not like Sunday and Brett are at least going to try to pick up Chris. So, Ty, you talk about how fucking dumb this was.
The simple truth of the matter is this. Jay, for the entire episode until we found out they were going to Tribal Council, kept talking about how he did not trust Brett. And then he kept Brett to vote out somebody who trusted him right before the merge at a time where you need as many people around who trust you as possible. Don't get me wrong. I've done this enough times where I've screwed up and gotten too in my head about, making big Machiavellian moves, and then it bit me in the ass. So I can speak from personal experience. This was the stupidest thing he could have done. He's making a final 6 move at the final. I mean, how many of them are left?
There was 14.
14. And
Right.
Ty,
Yeah. Idiocy.
and Ty, that's
Idiocy.
what I literally said to Steven before the start was, I looked to boot Michaela when there's 8 people left, when there's 7 people left, when there's maybe 9. I don't look to boot someone like that because also, if it's so obvious she's so damn smart and so damn talented, guess what? That's another shield you have in the merge.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So-
and he's going to need them.
Correct. That is correct.
And my
It's
thing,
just-
I like to play devil's advocate and try
there's no
to
advocate.
and I really do, because when this episode first ended, I was like, well, maybe what if we didn't see, and then I can't wrap my head around it. And another thing is that Will, once again, we are keeping score. Will once again set out of an immunity challenge, and I thought Will was, because Murray, I get Murray episode 2. That seems somewhat reasonable, but I don't get this decision from Will either, because Will is supposed to be a super fan. Will is supposed to, what the fuck?
My guess is that Jay, in his egoistic fervor, was like, I'm voting Michaela out. She's a strong woman. I'm not going to risk that. And you can tell, when Will and Jay were having their little powwow, Will was like, you're kind of jumping the gun. But Jay was probably so insistent that the only option was to... I was going to say, if Will stuck with Hannah and Michaela, it's a tie. If not, he fucked up. But I don't know. I think Will was the one who was sort of trying to talk Jay off the ledge, but no.
Well, I mean, Will, I'm sure we're going to hear about all this and all the exit interview stuff, but Alicia, you want to chime in real quick?
No, I didn't see as much of that, Steven, as you're seeing. I mean, obviously, initially,
I think you're projecting a little bit.
There was the Will shock and pause, because he was like, wait, what? But then he kind of immediately started coming up with his own reasoning. It didn't seem like a struggle for him to come up with, more relevant reasons to why he should do that.
Very quick, there was a line that was said at Tribal Council, and it might have obviously just been fluff, but it was something to the effect of the 5 here are going to be the people I trust the most, et cetera, et cetera. And he talked about previously how Michaela had no one but them, trust. So when I was going along that sort of same line of thought, being like, talked about trust then, talked about trust now, maybe he has a semblance of a,
Ty, feel free to chime in, because we are trying to figure. This is hard to figure out.
We're talking a lot about Will, which I think is a mistake to begin with, because we've barely heard anything from Will's perspective himself, which means that he's. But think about it this way: we're wondering why Will's not thinking logically and why Will would not talk Jay off of the ledge. Do you remember yourself in high school? I remember myself in high school. I wanted to fuck everything in front of me. I was an idiot. Mm-hmm. This is what Will is. Will is a high school.
Will in high school?
Yeah, he's high
Will
school.
Is still in high school.
Oh, Will is the youngest one.
Yeah, he was born in 1998.
Literally the youngest player ever to play the game. We're projecting our
Oh, then there's no way she was trying to talk him off the ledge. She was probably just sitting there being like, okay.
No chance. There's no.
Cool.
And Ty,
precisely.
Ty, here's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I think you're right. We're projecting.
Yes.
And the reason why that we're trying to projecting is, as a super fan, this just does not fucking compute.
It confounds the mind.
If this was episode 2 and you brought out Michaela instead of Murray, I get that. If this is episode 9 or 12 and you brought out there's this.
Yeah.
I understand. I mean, it makes sense that Will should have done more if you forget about the fact that he's an 18-year-old who's still in high school and doesn't. There's no way he's going to be able to talk Jay off the ledge.
Yeah.
This was Jay's dumb move, and Will is basically powerless because, frankly, Will doesn't have the life.
And Ty, I want you just to briefly, where does the edit leave us now? Because Michaela was getting one of the best edits of the season. Jay was also getting a pretty good edit last episode. Ken still exists, and Adam,
I think tonight was a great episode for Ken, because we saw a bunch of people doing a lot of stupid things, and none of those people were Ken. None of those people were Jessica.
Yeah.
There's a group of 2 people who have a lot of connections in this game. Should we get the obvious Jay's about to die edit that we are all expecting next week, I think. Basically, if that's what happens, if he doesn't play an idol, he's dead. He's so dead.
And the thing about it, though, is I was been giving Jay a lot of credit as the smart one of the Tails group.
No.
I actually think Jay could get voted out with an idol in his pocket now, because he doesn't seem to have enough perception. Before, when he found the idol, I thought he would at least be smart enough to play it at the first merge tribal council or play it on somebody. I don't fucking know now.
It was interesting.
Go ahead, Alicia.
No, go ahead.
So here's my one thought now that I'm continuing to think about this. At one point, Jay says, you know, oh, and then this light bulb went off, and I was like, Michaela's smart and she's strong. We should get rid of her before the merge. So it's like he was thinking back to any Survivor season he's watched where, like, yeah, you got to target, like, the big threat and not let them get to merge, but still let them help you almost get to merge. And so it was almost like he was like, oh, yeah, that's what we do in Survivor, instead of, like, taking in his exact situation and exactly what was happening in his game. Okay, for his game, that wasn't a thing that needed to be done.
And I mean, Michaela, if she was going to flip, she probably would have targeted Taylor. I don't.
Yeah, I think Jay was probably one of the last people she would have targeted.
Yeah.
I mean, let's put it this way. Last episode, when he found that idol, was an interesting scenario.
Yeah.
Because Michaela walks up on them and sees them have the idol, and she doesn't care. She's not, like, looking to immediately throw him under the bus. It's a thing that she knows about. But it's Jay who was all like, ah, shit, she knows about my idol now. And Will's like, oh, dude, that's weird. That sucks. And, you know, just yes-manning because he's an 18-year-old boy who's hanging out with a cool guy. To that end, he's probably just living in heaven based on that. I mean, I found it interesting, all of their reactions, in which Michaela really didn't care.
Yeah,
which showed that she cared about Jay, at least for the time being. And Jay was all worried about her.
Want to say,
that kind of ended up being foreshadowing.
I do want to bring up something, and this is going to cause some shit. And Steven, I want to start with you, and you're just going to shit on me for saying this. The only problem, and the only thing about Michaela I can see is that she did have this unfiltered mouth, and maybe she didn't have the foresight to realize, or the perception, I needed to tamper my intelligence. And that sucks that she was in that situation. But if she, you know, like, I kind of see that in a flaw in her gameplay, that she maybe was just a little too.
Oh, absolutely, it was.
If she got voted out specifically because of her mouth or her being, like, too mouthy, I get it. She got voted out because she's too smart.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that why wasn't she? I'm a little surprised that she wasn't smart enough to read the room and dumb herself down.
She's just an intense person, and I don't think she changes that. Like, for anyone, that's like the vibe that I'm getting.
On top of that, I feel like
and so it wasn't occurring to her that, like, this is a discussion you have with your one closest alliance member as you're trying to navigate the game, not like 4 people that you were, like, thrust into a group situation with, not like 4 people that you chose.
And that's the thing, is that it is a flaw in her that she wasn't able to dumb herself down, and adapting is part of Survivor. And you're gonna hate
you're right in that adapting is part of it. But I also think that realistically, when Michaela is doing the diagram shit that she is doing in front of her lines, that should be enough to tell them. If she's going to all these great lengths to be like, yo, this is what we're doing, let's do it. I think
she is totally with you. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
well,
the onus should not be on Michaela to dumb herself down.
And that's
the thing on Jay.
I'm actually
no, because that's part of Survivor.
And that's the thing, that's why I am putting the onus on Michaela, because this is Survivor. It's adapting. Ty, agree with me or disagree with me?
I both agree and disagree. I agree to the extent that Michaela even said, like, after they won the reward challenge, I don't want to be in a position where everybody sees me winning all of these things and realizes that I'm a threat. So she at least had some sort of self-awareness somewhere at some point that she knew that she needed to not stick out as a threat. And then she stuck out as the threat by having the whole mastermind plan at the final 14, which is not when you do a mastermind plan necessarily. That's not when you do it. Yeah. And she did it, and it got her voted out. Now, does that excuse Jay for being an absolute moron? No, it does not. They were both dumb.
Jay way more so. Jay was a complete idiot.
Way more so dumb.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Jay was 100% idiot. Michaela.
Jay ended his game. Jay basically alienated. Not only did, like, Michaela go out kicking and screaming, but now Hannah has absolutely no reason to be loyal to him, to Taylor, to Michelle, who was just like, oh, vote Mari, I'll explain later, and kind of like second episode of the most awkward scene, like, of that night. Like, she has no reason to be loyal to those people. She likes Zeke and Adam. Jay is dead. Jay is absolutely dead. And this round, the moment that he doesn't have an idol and doesn't have...
I think at this point of the millennial clique or whatever those two together, it's like Jay, Will, Michelle, and Taylor. I think the only person who has legs of that group is Michelle, because Hannah at least has some ties to her that we've seen. So if Hannah's going to bring someone with her, it's going to be Michelle. Will she bring someone with her? Not necessarily, but if she does, I think it's Michelle.
And I don't know. I can see one scenario where Tails makes Final 7, but I think you're right. And
if Jay gets cut at like merge, Tails can maybe get to Final 7, but he's
But with all that being said, that's kind of the thing I want the viewers, listeners to take away is that 95% this was Jay's horrible move. However, I think it would be completely wrong of us to say that Michaela, there was that 5% where she could have potentially saved herself. And I think it's important for us to at least acknowledge that.
Yeah, I agree.
But it was still fucking dumb. But it's different.
To quote Hannah Montana, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has their mistakes. We saw just about everybody's tonight in this episode.
And I can't think of a better way to end it than off of Hannah Montana. So I want to thank Alicia. I want to thank Steven. I want to thank Ty. And I want to thank the viewers out there. Join us next week. I will be joining. Originally, I wasn't planning on joining because I was going to be so hungover from the election. I'm hoping to God that Michaela being voted out is the worst thing to happen in this upcoming 7-day period and not the potential. Everyone knows how I feel. Anyways, have a good night, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.